everyone. If I haven't told you yet, you're not listening. Happy National Women Chiropractors Day. I hope it's been an awesome Friday for you. I got to start mine with Devin Verana this morning at 5 a.m. my time. That was a ton of fun. So far today, if you've been following me around in the last 24 hours, we were in Australia. Then we went to Kansas and Atlanta, Oak Haven with Dr. Bobby, Texas, Florida, Montana. I know I'm forgetting some. We just got back from Singapore.
Wow.
So it's been a day. We've been on the go. And none of you probably recognize this lady. So let me be the first to introduce you to Dr. Monica Berger. Thank you so much for joining me.
Hey, I was so excited about this. I actually jumped on.
That was so awesome. Dr. Shar and I are like live, and all of a sudden, here comes Monica. Yeah, so like that's passion and enthusiasm when you show up a half hour early. So we loved it. It was all good.
I was going to be prepared.
Yeah, you were. So here's what I'd like you to do.
Okay.
For all of you, when you join us, share what is your habit or how do you care without carrying? So what I've asked Dr. Monica to do today is to talk about, in Dr. Monica's office for the last several decades, she has seen some really severe cases, some kids who, other than Dr. Monica as a doctor, every other healthcare professional has given up on them. And mama and daddy are there. They love their child. They don't know what to do. They're distraught. And so, I truly believe that lessons in our life are intended for us to grow. And so what I've asked Dr. Monica to do is to share, how do we fully love them, walk through the fire with them without being consumed ourselves. So, boy, that was loaded.
That's a loaded. Okay,
yeah. So if you can think about like an actual situation where this has happened.
Yeah, and I think for those of you that may have not heard, my practice is really, I'm having the time of my life, but it is quite profound. I mean, in that I treat children with neurodevelopmental disorders that, hang on, I'm getting feedback here. Hang on. I don't want to get that fed. But profound neurodevelopmental disorders where they just don't come in and sit down for you and you can work on them. I mean, I've had my nose broken. I've had a couple fat lips. I've had chunks of hair pulled out. I've been bit, punched, pushed. I got a bad concussion almost 2 years ago. So it's a tough thing. However, I know that they're expressing their neuro expression is just a reflection of their neurological integrity. So first of all, you have to understand that they're not meaning to do you harm. So try not to take that personally and try not to get defensive against the child. And, so you have that compassion because if you know where they're coming from. I do get frustrated sometimes with parents because of the follow through. So step number one is I always tell anybody I work with, but especially the parents of little fiddle farts that are extremely developmentally delayed. First of all, I ask them what their top 3 things. If you could wave a magic wand, what are the top 3 things you want me to help you with? And most of the time it's behavior, sleep, or potty issues. And the biggest thing is speech, because we have so many kids with speech delay. That's their goals. If you want to care but don't carry, you have to be on the same page as their goals. But understand that And I tell the parents that I don't know what's below the iceberg. The body's a lot smarter than I am. Innate intelligence is a lot smaller than I am. So these are your top 3 goals, and speech is often number 1. But that might not be the body's goals, because maybe the kiddos are usually like this because of chronic undergoing neuroinflammatory load. There's a lot more critical stuff going on. So the body says, in its infinite wisdom, says, you know what? Learning to talk or learning to have muscle control and sit up, that is not priority for me. My priority is to keep as much inflammation down on this kid's brain and keep his heart pumping. And that's emergency mode. So I'm very upfront because I don't know. And again, the body reveals itself in layers. You pull back one layer and then it might reveal something else. So if you don't want to get burned out and stressed and feel you're under a pressure cookie because they want speech and it's not happening and you feel like a failure, and be upfront and honest, but understand that it's a process and the body will prioritize. So that's number 1. I tell all the docs I mentor too, care but don't carry. We can care. We do. And when I walk into a room, I'm telling you, there's been times where this little fiddle fart is sitting there and in a lump and no eye contact and drooling. And you're like, okay, dear God, what do you want? Why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing? And you might have to excuse yourself for a minute. I always use something like, oh, I need to go get some I gotta get some paperwork that, or I need to grab something real quick. And then you go in the bathroom and you have a little meltdown, a little come apart. And then you get yourself together and you go back. And at least that's what I've had to do. In fact, I posted a little meme to that, lending itself to that this morning for Women's Chiropractic Days, that women are phenomenal. We can pull our shit together. Oh, can I say that?
Yeah. You and Heidi.
We can pull ourselves together. We can, right? We can go have a little come apart and, wipe off our mascara and stuff, and we'll go back in there and do it. So if you have to do that, do that. You go back in. Don't overpromise. Okay. Because sadly, we want to fix everybody, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes we put ourselves on the back burner because we want to fix everybody. But the old saying, there's a limitation to matter sometimes. And these kids are so stressed right now. So much trauma, toxins, thoughts, technology loading the system, that we have to say obviously we can give them a better life. Obviously. What that looks like, try not to be perfect, and understand that a lot of them are going to still have struggles, the severe cases, because things are imprinted early on in life. So I think to cut yourself some slack a little bit, work hard, but cut yourself some slack. And then another trick that I have is I need to go, I have to have my space, a little bit of time. So I put myself in timeout. I know, Monica, I put myself in timeout. Crazy. Maybe from this point, I'll call it a quarantine timeout, whatever.
Yeah, I had to quarantine myself for a short time.
Because I get a little crazy. I mean, I don't know how many others have like 25 research papers next to their bed with tabs and colored pens sitting up all night, tabbing things and everything. But I have to have my timeout. And so I recommend this for all my patients, especially my moms of kiddos that struggle. And I recommend it for all of us. I come home, my husband knows now, close the bedroom door, take a hot bath, meditate. I wash the day away. That's what works for me. So I recommend you find whatever works for you. Is it journaling? Is it singing? Is it dancing? Is it going to whatever? But you can give up 15, 20, 30 minutes to decompress. And I like to do it at night because I just wash away the day. And so I do a little mantra, actually. Energetically, we take in information from the left side of our body and it crosses over and we dump it on our right side. So I do a little visualization and I breathe in and whatever your spiritual belief is, God, divine universe, whatever. But I ask to bring in the light up my left side. And as I exhale, I blow out the darkness on my right side. And I actually visualize that. And then I do it 3 times. And the last time I ask that I bring in the light, the goodness, and I dump the darkness, and I dump all that is not mine. Any hurt, pain, anger, darkness, sadness that is not mine, I ask to let it go. Because we really need to, we're such energetic human beings, and we put our hands on so many people. We really need to be mindful of not owning that, and carrying it with us. So those are kind of some things that I do as a routine, a regular routine. And I do notice, let's say we have guests that are staying here, or I go for a few days and I can't do that. I can be a little grumpy.
I think it's important to know that about ourselves, though, to know, it's kind of like when you're raising babies. I remember when Samson was first born, and one of my girlfriends, he started crying and I jumped up and she's like, that's not he's just like, you don't have to go get him. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, that's a whatever cry. I remember thinking, a whatever cry. Yeah, it's like a cry, be quiet cry. And you start learning, like, what are their cries? Like, oh, that's a hungry cry, or that's a this cry, or that's a that cry, or that's a that cry. And so you learn to know your children. And I think it's so important to know ourselves and not to then beat ourselves up about what we need, but instead to lean in and to nourish ourselves. Self-care isn't just going and getting your nails done, and self-care isn't just getting a massage. I think self-care is the way in which we operate morning, noon, and night. Like, what do you say to yourself? And not only how do you take care of your physical being, but how do you take care of your mental being? And that also includes boundaries. Your boundaries with what's best for me. And like you said, if you have a habit of carrying things home, then by showing your family love, to just say, hey, when I walk in, I just need, just let me go into my room. Let me take off my clothes. Let me just do my little thing. I'll be right out, but I just need that. In order for me to keep serving you, family, I just need this little bit. And it's not selfish, and it's not that you don't love your family because you love them. You're caring for yourself. I used to always say to my moms in practice, who's taking care of your kid's mom?
Yeah.
Who's taking care of her? Because if you're not taking care of her, who's going to pour into all of these people, all these little guys and gals that need you? So you must take care of your kid's mom. So Monica, how do you come alongside parents when they give you that look of, is there any hope?
That's a great question. And I think I always say there's always hope. There's always hope. But please understand that we don't know the depths of, and you don't want to use despair or destruction with parents, but I do a lot in the prenatal world now and trying to really turn the tide before even conception, and understanding the load that these little fiddle farts are being brought into this world. We're already having to undo damage that's been done. And this is going to be especially true with what we're going through right now. I cannot overstate that. I cannot overstate that, because prenatal stress is the foundation of the neurobiology of disease, period. End of story. It is. So, but I'm realistic because if you're realistic with them, you're realistic with yourself. So I'm realistic. There's always hope to improve the function of the nervous system. What that will look like, I don't know. I'm not smart enough to know but your child's nervous system is smart enough to know. How long is this going to take? I don't know. I don't know. That's a big question they ask all the time. Well, how long is it going to take? I don't know. I often say, I'm going to open up the can of worms. We're going to open things up. We're going to start working together. And I tell them there's 3 Ps. There's the parents, the physician, and the patient. There's 3 Ps that go together. We all have to work together. And once we open up the can of worms, we can get an idea over like 90 days, like, can I push the system faster? Do I have to pull back? We'll get some idea of how fast and how far we can push. But I think if you can learn to be open and honest and confident, and it's okay to be that way, it really is, because then you're not setting yourself up, and I don't want to use the F word, failure, but you're not going to feel like you've let somebody down.
Yeah, and I think it's so important when individuals ask, like, obviously I'll get that question even with chiropractors, which I always find is interesting. Everyone wants their practice to turn around yesterday. It's like, it didn't get here yesterday. It's been a little bit of time. So just like in reported findings, we tell people that, it's a process, and it depends on what you're willing to do and the effort you're willing to put forth. And the same thing with parents, like, how committed are they? Do they want to get rid of all the toxicity in their home? Are they committed to being there on time with their children? Are they committed to themselves being healthy? Because a healthy parent raising a healthy child is a way better combination than mom and dad are subluxated, bringing in their subluxated child, right? So I think so often when we talk about, well, how long is it going to take? What if this is a lifetime habit?
Mm-hmm.
What if we started looking at whether it's relationships or finances or this with our health, like, there isn't a destination. This is going to be a lifetime, because as we turn over this rock, then, like, when you turn over a rock, right? Like, it's kind of yellowy, white. There are all kinds of like bugs and stuff. And then when we turn over that rock, now we have other things to deal with, right? And then when we dig down a little bit deeper, other things. So what if the story with that we first got in our mind, that it's not a destination? Like, this is going to be a journey of discovery. There are going to be peaks, there are going to be valleys, there are going to be meadows, there are going to be rushing rivers. Like, what if that's the story that we saw for people instead of point from here to there?
And that's great, because I use that, I said the body will peel back a few layers, and then there'll be something else. And and I tell them the sicker the child, usually, it's a roller coaster ride. We're going to have some ups, and then boom, they're going to dip. And this is actually part of neurological retraining. When the nervous system gets healthier, you're going to see that dip, and it appears that they're regressing, but actually you're regenerating things, and then they come back a little bit stronger, a little bit more verbal, whatever, and then they might take a dip. And I say that the more work we have to do, the deeper the dips and the more frequent the dips. But using these analogies that you laid out, that we talked about, this sets you up for, then the parents are like, she's right. She knows what she's doing because she warned me this was going to happen. And then you're not the crazy chiropractor that, oh my God, my kid's going, is worse. You're the one that said, this is the way the nervous system works. Expect to see this. And then they're like, okay, she's right. And you're going to have to revisit. They're going to say, okay, it only appears that they're regressing, but actually I'm excited about that. That means we're retraining pathways, And remember, I said it can be many. And then they're like, oh yeah, okay. So
Mhm.
if you do these things ahead of time, you gain their confidence, you gain their trust, and you're going to be less stressed because you're not trying to fix everything on a dime.
And that's so much pressure. I think
Yeah.
that's when we start doubting as chiropractors, when we set up at the beginning that it's going to be an overnight fix, or like you're going to be, your child or you're going to be so much better within 12 visits. How do you know? But if instead it's like, I'm going to give it 100%. Can I count on the same from you? Will you give it 100%? Because I know when we both give it 100%, we're going to have far better outcomes. I don't know exactly what those outcomes are, but I know in order to have the best ones, I got to give 100 and you got to give 100. Are you in? Right? Like get that commitment from them too. I love the 3 Ps: the physician, the patient, and the parent.
Mhm.
Like all 3 Ps are together. So you said you had a special card you wanted to share with us today.
And one more thing, I tell everybody to learn the word no and forget the word guilt. That means learn no, I'm sorry, I'd like to, but I can't. No, I'm sorry. And don't feel guilty about it.
Yeah. Say the boundary and let go of the emotion after.
2 words. You need to learn 2 words, no and guilt. Okay. So I have these little fun cards I've been doing with my tribe. I have to wear my glasses. Sorry, I am old. But these are these little fun little pop cards. So I wanted to pull one from this deck. The deck is titled You Matter. And let's see, which one do I want? I want this one right here. All right. Ready? It's You Matter. Oh, that's pretty good. Okay, ready? I've been doing way too much recording today. I'm running.
Okay. I don't think I can get close enough.
Sorry, guys. I'll pull it back in. Okay, so you matter. Okay, you're someone special. You matter to a lot of people. So all of you out there, you are way special, and you matter to more people than you can even imagine. Just believe that.
I love that. You matter. You are of great worth. I remember telling my kids that all the time. You are of such great worth and amazing value. So Dr. Monica, you are of great worth and amazing value. Thank you so much for joining me today, and for all of you who have participated in the majority, or even if it was only this one of the interviews that I've done today. I hope that you have had a wonderful National Women Chiropractors Day. I love and appreciate you. If Dr. Monica or I can help you, I promise, if you reach out, we will reach back, but we can't read your mind. We can't read your situation, but we would love to be able to give the opportunity to come alongside you. And I don't know if we can help, but if we can't, we'll find a solution for you. I promise. So Thank you very much. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll catch you all on the flip side. So long. Bye.
Pasta.